your website starts a conversation about you, and your social media carries on that conversation. Um,
Ooh, Divine.
yeah.
Hold on, hold on. Divine hitting you. Hitting you with the
Yeah.
heavy stuff. Welcome back to the show. Today I've got a guest who's going to teach us about copywriting and how effective it can be for you on your website. And I'm talking, his stuff is going to double, triple, quadruple. Maybe I'm putting too much pressure on it, but it's going to do a lot for your website, a lot for the clients, a lot to get you commissions and deals, all that stuff to keep people coming back. Let's get right on into it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Miss Divine Bunch. Hello, Divine. How are you today, man?
Hello.
How you feeling?
I am good. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for asking. First of all, thank you
Yeah,
for coming on. I'm
of
really
course.
excited to talk to you because these are things we talked a little bit before this started, and some of the stuff you said, I was like, oh, I was wondering that. So I'm really excited to get some of these questions answered. So we're gonna hop straight into it. And one thing that I want to make sure we talk about today, and I believe you do as well, is
Hmm.
how do you build trust on the website? We're gonna go right in, smack dab into it. Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is one of my favorite things to talk about, because so many times I see sites that are just I can tell how much psychology was put into it.
Right?
So yeah, so a lot of times we go to write websites and we think, okay, well, I just want to get what I need to say out. I want people to see like the services that I have, and I want them to see all these different options and all the different things.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in the real estate space, I notice that there are a lot of sites where they might talk about what they do. A lot of times, it's not even that. There's some assuming going on,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll see a lot of credentials. And I think that the common myth there is that credentials are enough to build trust, and they're not. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people can go after the same degrees, a lot of people can accomplish the same types of deals and things, but I need to know who you are as a person and why
Right.
I should trust you with my home, with my money, all of these things, you
Right.
know.
Absolutely.
Um, so there are definitely various components to building trust on your website, down to how you talk to your reader, um, and just various things. So, would you like for me to give you like a numeric rundown, or
Oh,
how would you
so
want
you asking the right question to me. So yes.
Yeah.
So let's go into and let's take it step by step. Let's break this all the way down. And
Mhm.
basically what we want to do, let's give the listener a one-on-one one oh sorry, not one-on-one, 101 version of college
Mhm.
course. This is copy. Let's do it. And what we'll do is I'll still be able to ask you questions in between there and we'll just talk
Mhm.
about it that way. We'll go down that path cuz you like talking about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
so cool. So what's step one, Divine? What's the first thing I'm doing if I got a brand new website? What's the first thing I'm
Mhm.
doing with that website?
Before you even start writing it.
Oh, see now I don't know. I'm asking you. You tell me. I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay. Okay, so writing a website, like I said before, people just jump into it.
Right.
But there are definitely preparatory steps that need to be taken.
Okay. Talk to me.
So a lot of times whenever I'm writing a site, I just wrote my own again, and gosh, I forgot how hard it is to do your own and not just like listen to other people's ideas and organize them in your head.
Right.
Um, so whenever I'm going to write a website, before I even open, the draft folder, I like to know exactly who I'm talking to. So I need
Okay.
to know what is your brand like. I need to know how you speak. I need to know the person that you're talking to and the things that they resonate with,
Mm,
a lot of their things that they might commonly experience.
mm,
And I need to know these things in order to create wording in a flow that makes sense to them. I
right.
like to mirror their language so that they feel heard. And I love to write in a manner where it's you instead of I. That is a key trust factor. Um, because so many times, we get so excited about getting our message across that we neglect the basic human needs. And humans, we love to talk about ourselves. We love to think about ourselves. It's just our nature. It's not that we're bad people, it's just our
Right.
nature. So it's very important to cater to those basic human needs by talking to them and telling them, hey, I see you.
Right.
I see where you are. I see what you're struggling with. So that's the first thing that you should definitely
So
do.
stop there. So stop there, Devon. So stop there.
Yeah,
We gotta stop there. All right. So the
yeah.
first step is getting you a feel of what the brand is and how you speak to the audience, how you speak to that avatar, if you will. Here's my
Yeah,
question. How do I do that?
absolutely.
How do I, cause what's in my head, right?
Hmm.
Let's say we're talking about this particular podcast, right? Where the brand
Hmm.
is to do a real estate branding podcast. It's helping people learn their brand and really develop a brand into a powerful, uh, determined spot that allows them to dominate their market. How do I
Yeah.
give you that thought process in my mind? How do I do that?
I love that question. So, a lot of times, so in the beginning, I have a workbook for my clients to fill out so that I can ask them some questions to help them understand their ideal client if they don't
Okay.
already.
Right.
And sometimes that requires multiple questions, just kind of talking in circles and thinking it out. So, it really comes down to how specific are you in your ideal client?
Mm-hmm.
Because some people will say, well, I want to reach, other women investors. Some people will say, no, I want to reach a woman investor who is 40, who is an introvert, who
Right.
is a mom, who has these different things in her past that, get her excited about it.
Mm.
Um, Also, I really want to understand who you work best with. So I pose it to my clients as, if you have a new coworker coming in,
Right.
who are you going to pray to the good Lord Jesus Christ is not next to you?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
We all know that there's just that one person we wish we never had to deal with.
Right. Right.
And then who is that person that you would get along famously with? Like you guys would hit it off on projects, you'd be productive, you know what it's gonna look like. Because if I can get a good idea of that, then
Mhm.
we can get to a place where we're gonna go ahead and mirror that language
Okay.
that's attracting people you actually like to work with, not
Right.
just anybody who will buy from you or do business with you.
Okay. Tracking. That makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes absolute sense.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So you
So,
break that down and we get you what you need to do that. But earlier
mhm,
you mentioned it's really difficult for you to write your own stuff. So then
absolutely.
with that in mind, how are you able to do it how are you able I guess is it easier for you to see on the outside in than the inside out? Is that what's happening?
Absolutely. So that's why even copywriters have copywriters,
Right.
because whenever the idea is in our head, we hear, what we know. We hear it in our own
Mm,
jargon, in our own terms.
mm,
And someone else coming in saying, hey, you're saying this and this, but I don't quite understand this the way that you do. So can you please break that down and explain that for me?
right.
That is definitely a key component of the value of having a copywriter. So,
Interesting.
mhm.
Okay, that makes sense. So, copyright. I didn't know copywriters had copywriters, but that I mean, I guess it makes sense because you got life
Yeah,
coaches have life coaches, so it's not
yeah,
no surprise. So that makes sense. So
yeah.
you've got all the information on the podcast or the video cast, sorry, and hey,
Mhm.
this is who we're talking to. We're talking to real estate professionals.
Yeah.
This is what we're going to talk to them. How we want to talk to them. What's the next thing you tell me to do when I call you and I fill out my spreadsheet? I've got my homework done. I send it in
Hmm.
with an apple and
Yeah.
ask for God, please let me get an A. What happens next?
Yes, that's the best part. Like, you absolutely cannot fail it. I tell people, treat this as your journal so
mm,
that, like, if you have stories you want to talk about, if you just want to talk in circles, a lot of people, they can't write their thoughts down and be able to think. And I'm
right,
not one of those people. I think by writing. And it just blows my mind that there are people who think by talking. So that's something that I've had to learn to adjust to in
right.
working with words. So I tell people, if you need to go into I use Google Docs. So if you need to go to the toolbar and use the little talk to text button, just
Mm,
do that, talk in circles,
mm,
just get it all out on paper.
I like it.
So yeah, I try to, make it helpful for every mind type. But the next step in that would be I would review all of that. And then that's when we start the market research piece, which is fun for me, not everyone. But
Wait. So market even so with as a copywriter, you do market research as well.
absolutely, it's
I didn't
crucial.
I didn't know
It's
that was a
so
thing for
ineffective
copywriters.
without it.
Okay, I didn't. I'm
Yeah.
learning something new. So copywriters
Yeah.
do market research. So what's the difference between your market research and, let's say, me as a real estate investor? I'm doing market research on the market based on real estate. What's the difference between what I'm looking
Right.
at and what you're looking for when you do it?
So, as a real estate investor, you're kind of looking at a lot of the similar things. So,
Okay.
you have to go in, you have to look at what is the job growth like? What are the people like? If I want to build this type of property in
Hmm.
this area, or I want to create this type of ambiance, are there even people with that type of personality who would appreciate it?
Right.
Um, so, copywriters do similar things. We have to figure out it's the World Wide Web. So
Right.
obviously there's going to be someone to resonate with it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so we need to figure out the people with these types of personalities, where are they hanging out? Then we kind of get a little stalkerish. So we we're combing through like review sections and Facebook comments,
Okay.
Yelp. We can go as far down as like LinkedIn and all different types of backdoor things.
Wow.
We will
Okay.
look everywhere to find out where these people are hanging out and then read through their questions, their comments, anything concerning what you're doing.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think for a real estate investor, where have I gone so far? I love hanging out in the Bigger Pockets community. I love to read those comments anyway because they're so entertaining.
Oh, so okay, so stop right there. So here's what's funny. I was on Bigger Pockets quite a bit in 2018 when I first started out.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
around 2019 I was like, I'm not going into Bigger Pockets. It was
No.
just too, all due respect to Beardy, Brandon Turner
Mhm.
and the rest of the team. They're great. But man, some
Yeah.
of the community, I was like, okay, it's just toxic. I'm good.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
elsewhere. I'm gonna hang out over in Facebook
Exactly.
somewhere. it's,
Exactly.
it's too much. It's too much. But anyway, go ahead, continue. You were
Yeah.
saying you were saying you learned a lot from Bigger
Mhm.
Pockets. So when you're in there, what are you looking to read? What are you trying to figure out when you're in there? What are you looking at?
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out the buzzwords that they like to use,
Mm,
different language that they use. And then I try to get a feel for their personalities
okay.
and if they even fit the bill for the type of person that I'm looking for.
Right.
And then when they do, that's when I really get stalkerish. And I will kind of start to research that person and see like different things that they've put out online about like where they shop, um, like different ideas that they have,
Okay.
certain sides of different things that they might fall on. Um, all types of things like that. This way, I can go back in and I create a list of those words. I create a list of stories that I've seen from them.
Okay.
And if I know that my client has certain stories that resonate with those points, I make a note to put that into the website. So it
Okay.
seems like a lot of work. It kind of is, but
It,
that's the
it's
fun part.
it's a little bit of work. It's a little bit, but so all right.
Yeah.
So we talked about, you talked about what you're looking at. Now
Hmm.
let me ask you this, and this is a relatively specific question, but I think it's very pertinent. How
Hmm.
specific does it need to be for you to be able to do it research?
That is a good question. Of course, the more specific, the better.
Okay.
Um, but it does not have to be super duper chiseled. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. I can kind of help you refine some of those things. Um, it can be a little hard because, of course, they say whenever you're trying to talk to everyone, you're talking to no
To no
one
one. Yeah.
because, yeah, because there's no like little buzzword that makes people feel like, oh, that's my club. I agree
Right.
with those values. I
Right.
see that and I respect that.
Right.
So, a lot of times, which of course, I don't really know if real estate investors would have this issue. Well, yeah, they would. Um, a lot of times, companies try and make their whole brand messaging just being the lowest bidder. And I'm like, you cannot stay a sustainable business being the lowest bidder. You
Mm,
can't, keep trying to give out discounts all the time because some people are going to love you and
right.
come to you whenever you're the lowest bidder. But if you fall on hard times, you're screwed.
Right. Mm,
Versus building a value based brand that is authentic to who you are and that resonates with people, calling them out like, hey, we're a community, we're a club here. Um, Whenever you do that, that helps people. It kind of motivates them to support you even when you can't be the lowest bidder. And I think that that's super important for people to understand.
okay. So
Yeah.
you've done research. You've got,
Mm-hmm.
you've established that part. We've done the part where you kind of know what the brand is. Let's say
Yeah.
you've completed the research.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing next? So I imagine the next thing is you're going through drafts and doing stuff like that, and then you're
Mm-hmm.
transferring to the website. But what
Yeah.
what makes that stick?
Yeah, that's what's super important. So once you have all your content laid out and you know what's going to go into it, you've organized it. Now it's super important to always start with an attention grabbing device.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've noticed, but like a lot of times whenever you go to a website, a good website, they will have it on top who they serve. So with my website, I think it says like website copywriter for real estate investors. So people know exactly what I do and who I serve so they know if they're even in the right place. Um,
Okay.
and then when you go down, you need to have something that your reader cares about. So the next part of my website is like done for you copy. I don't remember. But it's super specific. It's what it is and it's what they want out of what you have to offer. So it's not just, oh, I have this cool offer, but
Right.
it's, I see that you're struggling. I see what you need,
Right.
and here's the answer. And that's just kind of for those people who are like me with squirrel brains and we operate really quickly.
It's hilarious. I think I've got squirrel brain too, so I know what you mean.
Yeah. So that's just for the skimmer. Then
Okay.
the next part you're going to come up with is you're going to want something that's kind of big that gets their attention and asks them a question, getting them to think about why they need you.
Now, when you say
Then,
big though, Divine, do you mean like big word, like big in size, or big in
mhm,
concept, big in psychology?
big in words. So the
Okay.
literal formatting, you're probably going to want to use a header too, because the first part should be a heading one.
Right.
I try not to get into formatting speak because I feel like I lose people there.
No, you listen. You can get into it.
Yeah.
Just expect me to stop you and say, "All right, what does that mean?" So we can break that down.
Yeah. Yeah. So whenever you're building your website, whenever you're typing out words, you can totally choose the formatting. So there's like heading one, two, three, four. Then there's, depending on which website you're using, there's paragraph one, two, three, four. So a big part of what I do is SEO work, which
Hmm.
is like helping you rank on Google. So those headings matter. We're not going to get into it, but definitely make sure that you're using them because they are super powerful in how people read your site, and just make sure that you're using different components that are capturing them. So for this part that I'm talking about, you're going to want to you're going to want to ask them a question in
Right.
heading two. And that
Okay.
question entices them to read the fine print that, the normal skimmer might just look glaze over.
Right.
Um, so for mine, it's, is your website investing in you? Um, it's not so much about um, like what I can offer you.
Mhm.
It's, is what you're doing right now working, and is it serving you the way that it's supposed to? Because you deserve that, because it's supposed to be working for you, especially if you've invested money in it. It should be giving you money back. It should be giving you leads and all the things that it is designed to give you.
Okay.
Um,
So, all right, I'm gonna stop you. I gotta stop you because I gotta make sure
yeah,
I'm taking this in. I'm excited about it. I'm taking
yeah,
this in. Okay.
yeah.
So then what you're saying is like if I had a website, I would do something
Mm-hmm.
like, "Is your brand marketing for you?"
Mm-hmm.
Based on just your thought process with that second heading. The first heading being what you do, what you're doing, who you
Mm-hmm.
are, and the second one
Yeah,
being that eye catcher, the grabber, the puller in is like you
yeah.
said, is your website working for you, right?
Exactly.
Okay, cool. I'm good. I'm on
Exactly.
I'm on course. All right, keep going. Keep going, Divine. Keep going.
Yes. Yes. So that part right there is what is designed to get the skimmer to read in depth and
Right.
to understand what it is that you do, but still in a way that's serving them.
Okay.
So I go into all the different components that a website should have, and then I just make sure that, they check their website and see to it that it's serving its purpose. If not, then I've got what we call a CTA, a call to action,
Okay.
which is book a call with me and we can figure this out. Um,
Okay. So stop.
yeah,
Wait. Stop again. Stop again. Because this is
yeah,
this is big. So what's interesting is you said CTA. What's interesting is all the research that I've done with YouTube and IG and learning how to use social media to bring people in. I've realized CTA is something that translates just about all platforms, all spaces, on websites, it's on newsletters, it's in commercials, all that stuff. How much attention do you have to give a CTA? And then on top of that, here's another question. Man, I hit you with two at the same time, so we'll go to the first one first, but we'll get the second one. Now, the second question is, with the site, does the site need to have a CTA on every page, or is it just one CTA for the entire site?
That is a great question. So this is kind of up to your preferences.
Okay.
I personally put CTAs on each of my pages. And the CTA doesn't necessarily have to be like buy this, but it's directing them and guiding them, showing them, okay, if you're having this problem or if you want to know more about this, we're going to go here and I'm going to help you with that.
Right.
Yeah, and on your homepage, always, always, always on your homepage, put one at the top of your page, a few, 1 to 3 in the middle, depending on how long your homepage is, and then one at the bottom. Those are super important. And I like to say your website starts a conversation about you, and your social media carries on that conversation.
Divine. Hold on. Divine hitting you. Hitting you with the heavy stuff. Okay, wait a second. So just what you do on the site is what holds them, but what you continue to do with the IG and the social media continues to feed them, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
You know what? Round of applause. Round of applause for Divine. My God, this is. Oh man, Divine, that's so good. Okay, I didn't know that. All right, sorry, interrupt. Please keep going. Go ahead. Go,
you're
Divine.
fine.
Go.
So, because you want to continue that conversation, you need to make sure that your social media is still. It doesn't have to be like a main focus point, but definitely make sure that those buttons are large and in very obvious places. Typically, in your header. The footer, like the bottom piece of your website, and also somewhere kind of big on your website in the middle of the pages saying like, hey, follow me here. That's super important so that people who are just kind of sneaking around and peeking, they're lurking a little bit, they can really get to see who you are, what you do. And there, again, is that element of obvious trust and building authority as well.
Okay, cool. All right, so hold on. I'm gonna regurgitate the steps. The steps. So first thing is the brand. Figuring, helping you to understand what the brand is, right? Then we go into research. That's when you're doing the research, figuring out the language, the talking. You're hanging out in Reddit, Bigger Pockets, IG, all this stuff to see what the crowd kind of talks. Then you're going into on the site. You're going into the attention grabber. You'll have a header. You have the header. You have two headers. Header 1, header 2. And then I'm writing notes. I'm not playing. All right.
Yes.
Then
You're doing a good job.
Then you go to you'll have 2 or 3 call to actions on the site. One at the top, 2 or 3 in the middle, and one at the bottom. Okay, cool. So we got all that stuff up.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Here's another question for you. You've got all that done, and your customer's like, hey, I want to add a video. Does video disrupt the copy? Or can the video add to it?
Yeah, it can do both. So depending on where in the process I know, I can very easily account for that video, and it's actually good for your website. The only thing is how you put that video on there matters, because when it comes down to SEO, I don't really want to get into it too much, but when it comes down to it,
no, we're getting into it. SEO. Yeah. Explain. Explain SEO, Divine. SEO. Well, I know what it is. Search engine optimization. But for you, how important of a role does that SEO play as you're figuring that stuff out?
Yes. So of course that's your Google ranking. So you want to make sure that your user experience is as smooth as possible. And whenever you add videos the wrong way, like you just kind of throw it on there. I don't know how else people do it. But like whenever it's kind of like a copy paste job or something, or you just like put the link on there and then it becomes a big video, that slows up your site so much. You typically don't want more than, I think it's like a 3-second load time, and videos can easily make that 9 to 10 to 15 seconds. So
that sounds like one of them old school computers we used to use, and it makes the sound the whole time. You sitting there for a whole 30 minutes waiting for just the website to come up. Jesus.
Exactly. So you definitely want to make sure that you are embedding the video and not
Right.
just putting it in there in any of the other different formats.
Okay.
Because
Wait. So
that'll.
break down that. Let's talk about embedding. Well, not even. We're not going to talk about it, but
Mhm.
explain embedding for me, because there's some people who will take it and they don't understand that they take that link and put it in there. That doesn't mean it's
Mhm.
embedded. They have not, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like they'll take it and they'll put it on Facebook and they'll drop it in there,
Mhm.
but that's not embedded to Facebook. Explain the embedding part so people understand.
Right. So you're talking about whenever people take the link and then they just like copy paste it into a
Drop it.
text
Yep.
box, but
Yep.
not.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not
So
embedding.
absolutely not. So it really depends on which website you're using,
Right.
but there is definitely going to be a little button either in the settings or whenever you are on the text section of your website
Right.
where it asks you, it's not the link button where you can just like type a word and then like highlight it and then link something to it. It's going to say embed, and there's going to be some confusing little box with some code in it. And you need to be able to, but it'll typically tell you, the nice ones tell you where to put your code.
Right.
So make sure that that is where you are putting your video.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so we are
Yeah.
we're coming on segment time, but we going to, if it's okay, Devon, we're gonna go a little into overtime.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
want to get make sure you're able to give them one more step, right? And
Yeah.
then for those
Hmm.
of you watching and listening, after that, I need you to go to Divine and reach out to her
Hmm.
and get some work done, right? Let's make something
Yeah.
happen. Divine, I need the affiliate
Yeah.
link. We're gonna have to make this. It's not. I'm gonna share it regardless. It
I
doesn't matter.
got
Even
you.
if you don't, I'm still gonna put it out. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got to get these people on your team, get you on their side so they can get that help. But
Yeah.
all right, so next step. So we've done all the research. We've done the brand part. We've done the research part. We've done the attention grab.
Hmm.
You've done some work on the site itself. You've added some copy in there. What happens
Yeah.
next?
Ooh, okay. So the next part is, of course, like going through and making sure everything is fine tuned. But like we were talking about with the CTAs, you are going to want to make sure that you have CTAs everywhere that it makes the most sense.
Okay.
And on top of that, you are going to want to make sure you have reviews. This is something that was so easy for me to forget in the beginning. Like I knew it was something and I needed, but I would be 90% of the way through a project and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I need to contact her and make sure like she can get reviews in like 2 days because it's about to go live. So
I love
it's
it.
really not like a super big deal in like the first week or so, but it definitely is a big deal in the long run. So now I have like a whole checklist and I make sure like we are not, that's the first thing I asked for.
Right. Gotta get those
So
CTAs in there. Got them in there. Gotta get them in there. Okay.
yes. So those reviews, those build trust. It gets people excited about working with you. It shows them a little bit of what they can look forward to about working with you. And
Right.
the cool part is it also makes you feel good about yourself. Like you're going to find out things you didn't even know.
That's always a
Yeah,
good thing. That's always a good thing. Having people
exactly.
talk nice to you and you just highlighting it
Exactly.
on the site. Yeah, that's the way to go. That's the way to
Right?
go. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So, Divine, it's time for us to get into a few of our segments. First of all, a round of applause to you. You killed that. That was, listen, I want us to go deeper, but I don't want to give everything away. And then on
Yeah.
top of that, I want to be able to have a subject to bring you back for. So, with that in
Yeah.
mind, let's hop into our two key questions we ask these for of every guest every time we have a
Mhm.
podcast. I want you to give the guest, or sorry, you are the guest. Get it together, Ollie. Get it together. Okay, I want you to give the listener and viewer one thing that he or she can do right now to improve their copy to get onto your level.
Yeah. One thing.
One thing.
Okay, so the first thing I would say, the only thing I'm going to say right now, is look at your website and make sure that it very clearly communicates what you do. Um, and you might think that it clearly communicates, so I would have someone who is not necessarily in your industry look at it and
Right.
say, hey, I don't understand these words. Like, I don't know what a KPI is, or I don't know like why you chose this particular market.
Ooh, okay.
Because if I'm going to give you my money, I need to know why you care about the market just
Right.
because you live there or
Right.
you know.
What's the real reason?
So Exactly. So that's super important. It's just making sure that people can clearly see what you do
Okay.
and why you do it. Constantly ask why.
Okay, fantastic. All right, so next question.
Hmm.
What question do you wish you were asked more often, and what's the answer to that question?
Yeah, okay. So I'll give kind of a simple one. When does the designer come into play? So for my clients, I have just made this super easy. I team up with the designer. It's all like in the same package.
Mhm.
And it's all together. So you don't have to go find a designer. Then you don't have to hear my critiques when your designer kind of like left out some things or
Okay.
yeah, no. So your designer should definitely come in at about the halfway point. So the copy is really the most important part because that's what keeps people to stay.
Right.
So the design gets them there, but the copy keeps them there and it helps them kind of break down what you do and receive clarity. So we're going to work out the wording. We're going to work out some layouts for psychology reasons and just for fun.
Right.
Um, and then and then we're going to bring on my designer and she's going to help you continue that process.
Okay, I like it. I need you to set
Yeah.
up that. I need to do an interview with your designer. That's what I want to do next. So
Yeah.
that's okay. I need you to help me out with that. Okay,
Absolutely.
Divine, thank you for those amazing answers, those easy questions. One of them
Of
being more easy
course.
than the other, but nonetheless, they were both easy for you. All right,
Yeah.
so I want to make sure people are able to get in touch with you, even though we're going to go into the FAQ next, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to make
Hmm.
sure you get. We're going to close this section out. We'll go to the FAQs.
Hmm.
That'll be in the episode after next. Ha!
Okay.
Episode after next. I
Yeah.
want you. I want to give you the floor right now, where they can reach out to you, how they can get in contact with you, how they can add you to their team.
Of course. So, of course, I love Instagram. It gets weird. I definitely have a sense of humor. But you will definitely get all sorts of tips. You will get my full on personality. We're going to get great ideas for your website, for your messaging, and you'll get to hear all about what's coming up next. And then there's also, of course, my website. So both of those are going to be Divine Writing Agency. And then, of
Mm.
course, you can email me at divinewritingagency@gmail.com.
I love it, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Divine Bunch. What an amazing episode. All right, so remember, you're better than you were, but you're not half as good as you're going to be. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody who needs the help. Get them connected with Divine. She's on this side. Yes, this side. Yeah. Get
Yes.
somebody connected with Divine. Hook them up. Let's get some copy done. I'm telling you right now, it's something that I spent a crap ton of time on. I'm actually reading the book Hook Point, working to figure out the whole copy thing. I might not have to do it anymore if I got Divine in my pocket. So
Yeah.
bless you all. Thank you so much for coming on again, Divine. We're gonna hop into FAQ. Say bye to the
Yeah.
people, Divine. Say bye to the people.
Goodbye.
All
Thank you
right,
so much
everybody.
for having me.
We're out of here.